Majority Report with Sam Seder.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
It is Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, Stephanie Mencimer, staff reporter, Mother Jones, Washington Bureau, on to discuss her piece, The IRS Is Imploding. But meanwhile, not a romp, but a big night for progressives in Michigan as Abdul El-Sayed wins in dramatic fashion. The 13th District Donovan McKinney wins and will be the 7th DSAer sent to Congress. In Michigan's 7th, Will Lawrence will win, or has won, and will be facing a Republican incumbent. Meanwhile, bad news in Missouri, Cori Bush handily defeated by Wesley Bell and his AIPAC money. Hartzell Gray in the 4th didn't cross the finish line, but came very close, teeing up a 2028 run, in my opinion. Kansas voters reject the idea of an elected Supreme Court. Missouri voters reject making referendums harder for people to call for. And out of the White House, supposedly a new deal on the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, because it's Wednesday and the stock market is still open until Friday. Meanwhile, as the deadline is looming for Max Miller to drop out of Ohio's 7th District re-election, he remains defiant. He's a fighter. He'll smack you around. ICE arrests reach record highs in July. New report, more than 50 detainees are either parents or spouses of active U.S. military. And good news, if you're a corporation, Trump administration refunds $100 billion to corporations in Liberation Day tariff refunds. However, if you're one of the consumers who paid for that, you're screwed.
Oh, I'm sure they'll pass those savings along.
Oh, of course. Federal appeals court bars the Trump EPA from canceling $20 billion in climate change grants. Private companies hiring comes in way below expectations. And a piece of SpaceX rocket crashes into the moon.
It sneaks up on you.
What are you going to do? All this and more on today's Majority Report. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Emma is out today. We were here rather late this last evening. Brian was in here at 7:15, and
I slept here,
cleaning up the place. Exactly. When we left, the race had not been called by anybody except for me. And
first, you heard it here first, folks.
Exactly. The race was a lot tighter than most of the polling would have had us believe. I think it's down to 1 point now or somewhere around there, but it has been called by the AP. Haley Stevens has conceded. NBC had called it late last night, maybe at 3 or 4 in the morning, but nobody else had. But it appears it is really clear. I know that Emma was upset when I called it based upon just gut instinct.
And wanting to troll her.
Yes.
Hopefully it was a moment of growth.
I think everybody understands that. According to Emma, I would have caused the win.
Right.
If I could have caused the loss, then I certainly could have caused the win. I should tell you all, though, it's not magic. People had already voted, and so it had nothing to do with my premature calling of the race. But this is a big victory. A couple of things just to keep in mind. We don't know yet. We probably will, but we don't know yet how many Republicans voted in this. It's an open primary. Anybody could have voted in there. I don't think there's substantial numbers of Republicans who voted, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was some. It's a tight race. Rural areas went with Stevens. Concentrated areas where there are black voters, particularly older black voters, went with Stevens as well. There's going to be a challenge for El Said, obviously, in running against Rogers. I think he has a better shot than Haley Stevens would have had because she didn't seem to motivate anybody without huge gobs of money. I mean, really, you're talking almost 10 to 1. He spent $1 on every vote. She spent $10 on every vote is a way to look at it. It's actually, the numbers are more inflated than that, obviously.
And she had all the establishment endorsements, too.
Right. I mean, we're going to see. And also, I would also imagine that part of Haley Stevens' vote was a function of we don't think El Said can win. And those people now move from pundits back into the I'm just voting for the person I want to win in this race. But it's going to be an all hands on deck moment in Michigan in that general because the implications of Abdul El Said winning are huge for the progressive movement. There's really no other way to put to argue that. And, it's not hard to imagine the Senate caucus we could have, whether the Democrats take the Senate or not. But folks like Troy Jackson, folks like Abdul El-Sayed, Talarico, who's not going to be as progressive as we want on a whole host of issues, undoubtedly. Dan Osborne, the same. But they're going to be able, they're going to create a voting bloc. But we'll see. Here is Steve Kornacki, and we were leaning heavily on Kornacki last night. We did miss the part where he poured water all over his computer, which I saw in retrospect, which was sort of funny. But here he is calling the race. I don't know what time this was last night. Do we know exactly? It was late.
This is an NBC News special report. I'm Steve Kornacki. American voters in 5 states hit the polls on Tuesday, and I've got some major results to share with you, starting in the state of Michigan, where Abdul El-Sayed has won the Democratic primary for the United States Senate. He defeats Congresswoman Haley Stevens. This was a very close race here. You can see there are still a scattering of votes to be counted, but El-Sayed currently leading Stevens by 2 points.
There you go. That was the call. And then Mallory McMurrow came out with an endorsement. This is number 2. I mean, she came out with this before he actually gave his speech.
She might have had it drafted for both, depending on which.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind, but she was very, very...
welcome aboard.
Yep. And Congratulations to Abdul El Sayed on winning the Michigan Democratic primary to be our nominee. Abdul has my full endorsement and support. This was a brutal primary. Believe me, I know. And Trump, that was her parenthetical. And Trump and Mike Rogers are counting on us staying divided. Let's prove them wrong by beating Mike Rogers and taking our country back. It's good to see. I don't know what, I haven't heard from Haley Stevens, although she did call to concede. Here is Abdul Al-Sayed this morning giving a victory speech. And we should say that McMurrow introduced him.
Yeah, and she's standing behind him here.
And no sign as to where Hassan Piker is. But I'm going to wait to condemn her for being on stage with Piker. I'm going to wait for that. I joke. Look, now's the time for unity. Here is
Hey, let's all get along.
Mike's a guy who spent 14 years in Congress with one goal, to figure out how to cash out the day he left. And guess what he did? As soon as he left Congress, after having taken corporate check after corporate check after corporate check to empower the corporations to pick your pockets, he went and he cashed out. Not in Michigan. No, winters are too cold for him. He's got thin skin after all. He went to Florida. So, Mike, if you want to be a Florida man, go be a Florida man. If you want to golf in Florida, go golf in Florida. But I promise you in November, we are going to send you back to Florida. Mike Rogers is the guy who wants to put a data center in your backyard so he can make himself feel a little bit more manly by making an AI video. Mike Rogers is the guy who has never shied away from a DTE check so he could turn his face in the direction of Florida. Mike Rogers is a guy who will do anything Blue Cross Blue Shield wants him to do, including raise your rates. Mike Rogers is a guy who introduced legislation to increase the flow of opioids. He did that while I was in high school. Mike Rogers is a guy whose politics and vision and perspective are old. Mike Rogers is a guy who has never shied away from a corporation he could do a favor for. Mike Rogers is a guy who, believe it or not, went back to Florida so he could lick every single boot Donald Trump owns to beg for his endorsement. I'm so sorry. If you want a senator who's going to lick some boots, fine, go vote for Mike Rogers. But if you want a senator who's going to stand up to Donald Trump, then you've got your option right here.
I don't even get the sense that speech was written.
It ends with him shoving Mike Rogers into a locker.
Giving him a wedgie.
What's a DTE check, by the way? Is that something I'm supposed to know?
I don't know what that is. Here is, let's play this clip. This is number 4. This is
Energy Company, DTE.
Is this a different victory speech? This one,
No,
I think,
same one.
Same one in Detroit. And this is a separate part of it.
I want to speak specifically to an issue that has been focused on in this race. To my Jewish American sisters and brothers, one of the most indelible memories of this campaign will have been the opportunity to break bread with you at Seder, to worship with you at Shul, to be embraced by you. And listening to sisters and brothers who said, you know, I want to join this movement because AIPAC doesn't speak for me. Because I understand that self-determination for one people does not require the quenching of self-determination for another people. That unless all of us are free, none of us are free. I want to tell you the great gift that you've given me. And to all of my sisters and brothers of the Jewish faith, or any faith at all, or no faith at all, I want you to know that my commitment to your safety, my commitment to Jewish safety, is the same commitment that I have to the safety of my own daughters. Because if there is one question of a political philosophy that ought to animate us all, is what would we build, what would we do if we treated all of our kids like they were all of our kids?
Good stuff there. And you know, I would love to see the data of really how many people we're talking about who who had those concerns that needed to be ameliorated. I mean, there has been a ongoing campaign to paint him as anti-Semitic by those people who want continued support of Israel with our tax dollars, and our basically being accomplices in the genocide that continues to be ongoing in Gaza. We don't have hard numbers of how many people voted against El-Sayed because they had heard, secondhand that he's anti-Semitic, or assumed, or just straight on Islamophobia. But comments and constructions like that are helpful for people to reach those people. But again, we don't know how many Republicans voted in that election. I don't think it was a huge amount, but we'll start to see those numbers, and we'll see how much Haley Stevens is going to be supportive of the Democratic nominee. I would think a decent amount. She still wants to have a career in Democratic politics. And we should also just note an absolute disaster if you are someone looking to Chuck Schumer and Kristen Gillibrand to lead the party. Because either A, they're incompetent, or B, they also have absolutely no idea where the Democratic Party is. I mean, both things can be true, but your perspective may vary depending on where you are at politically. If I was one of these, Democratic establishment types, I'd be very concerned that we have the two most incompetent people in charge of finding candidates. I don't know who else was on the bench in Michigan for the establishment, but it must have been pretty thin. Pretty thin. And I wonder if there aren't like some APAC and crypto and AI billionaires who are just kicking themselves today. Like, maybe if we just dumped another $30 million into that race.
It would have been worth it.
I think another $30 million would have maybe pushed her over the edge. $90 million. 1/10 what is spent in the past couple of presidential campaigns.
We need to raise taxes.
Indeed. Also, let's turn. We don't have a Donovan McKinney speech because I think it was just called this morning. But that's big news. That is a guaranteed another DSAer in the House.
Yeah, he just posted his first victory tweet 11 minutes ago. So, but very excited. We can put this up here, I suppose. Let's see.
Here's that tweet. Detroit, he writes, "I'm honored beyond measure to be your Democratic nominee to represent our mighty 13th in Congress. Taking back our seat, taking back our power has always been the core of our movement. I am so excited for all our community will accomplish together. Thank you, Michigan 13th.
It's exciting.
That was a long shot race. And lastly, Will Lawrence, one of the founders of the Sunrise movement. Sorry. Speaking of
Sunset movement was Joe Biden.
Exactly. I was going to say. I actually have my Sunset Movement card.
Sam's a Sunset Movement partner.
Yep. Here's Will Lawrence in is this East Lansing?
Yeah.
And
this is the truth.
Good.
Everybody here in the 7th District, regardless of your political persuasion, we share so much more in common. We share so much more in common than that what separates us. We share so much more in common than these billionaires in Silicon Valley and Wall Street and these insiders in D.C. We're going to find that common ground. We're going to build on it. We're going to build on it. And I tell you that on data centers, on war, on housing and healthcare, and on elite accountability, we are going to bring people together into a new way of politics beyond these old divides. We can do it right now.
Exciting wins there. Again, in Missouri, Cori Bush lost. She did not have much by way of fundraising. Wesley Bell had millions more than she did. And Hartzell Gray lost in the 4th district, but he came close. And he also, I think, was overlooked, and I think he was considered a long shot. But had there been resources there this time around, we could have seen a different outcome. I suspect there'll be more resources next time.
Well, because he got redistricted into a less favorable district, and we had him on Left Reckoning shortly after that, and he's like, I still think we have a chance. And he was right. They had a chance.
Yep.
And good effort, and I hope to see him again.
And for Will Lawrence's chances, he's facing a Republican incumbent who squeaked out one election so far, and that was to replace Alyssa Slotkin. So he's only a one-term incumbent who barely eked out in 2024.
And speaking of losers last night, it's not just Chuck Schumer and Kristen Gillibrand who took it on the chin last night. Elisa Slotkin, I think, had supported against Lawrence, was it? I got to check my notes here. But her preferred candidate, and I think it was in that Lawrence race, came in 3rd. The one that she endorsed. Now, she did her endorsement on...
Endorsed Matt Masden.
Yeah. And that was in the Lawrence race, right?
Yep.
Now, to be fair, she did her endorsement on with invisible ink that she got from the CIA.
The guy was a Navy SEAL, too,
it was
that she endorsed.
Yeah, it was one of those dead drop endorsements. And if somebody didn't actually look in the underneath the mailbox,
you have to squeeze lemon juice on it and then gently put a flame below it, and it will reveal the endorsement.
Secrets of the deep state Democrats.
Exactly. So that's good news. There's going to be there's a lot of work. And it also, I think, look, next week is Minnesota, and you should ignore polling.
Yep.
If we have a lesson from this, it is ignore polling. Particularly, look, it's very difficult to get quality polling from a primary. It's just nobody wants to spend the money on it and get quality polling, and it's very difficult to predict. But before we go to a commercial in a moment, we're going to be talking to Stephanie Mencimer. I think we cannot close out the Michigan primaries without one last time. And we should say it's not going to be the last time.
No.
We're going to be playing this clip probably for well past my retirement. But we just needed.
I want that Michigan fist.
Yep, you got it.
I want the Michigan fist.
And we got it.
You got it. Michigan has been fisted.
Extra, read all about it. Michigan fisted.
We just have this one ad? Is that it? Oh, okay. Like I say, in a moment, we're going to be talking to Stephanie Mencimer on her piece about the implosion of the IRS. Everything we hear about Trump's corruption is bad. But the stuff that really is going to have a lasting impact on a material basis on people for years to come is the utter destruction of nearly all of our government agencies. The one that gives the government revenue is a really important one, not just because it gives it revenue, but also it is a way of limiting wealth inequality. We'll be talking to her in a moment about that. First, I want to thank ZocDoc for sponsoring today's episode. Super easy to put off doctor's appointments, right?
I had a hard time biting into a pickle today, so.
And dentist appointments. ZocDoc can't take away the psychological blocks that you have, Brian. I'm just reading the copy. And but it can get rid of some of the major hassles and obstacles to finding a great doctor, booking an appointment with a great doctor, and making sure that your insurance covers it. I've used ZocDoc on the road once when I had a dental emergency, needed a dentist. ZocDoc found me a local dentist where I was at the time, and I was able to book the appointment. I was able to get the appointment the next morning. It was easy peasy. ZocDoc lets you search and compare local in-network doctors. They have over, I think, 150,000 doctors it is listed in over 200 different specialties. You can search by your symptoms or by the specialty that you're looking for. And the great thing about it is they have, their interface basically connects with the doctor's schedule. So on top of being able to figure out, is this doctor in network or out of network? They take my insurance, they don't take my insurance. You're able to book an appointment right on the website without having to call and haggle with the receptionist. You can see what's available. You can book it. Bookings generally happen pretty fast. Sometimes you can get same day, usually within 24 to 72 hours. Your health matters, Brian. And taking care of yourself shouldn't be complicated. Find and book the right doctor with ZocDoc. Head to ZocDoc.com/majority to get started and check that appointment off your to-do list. That's ZocDoc.com/majority. We will put the link in the podcast and YouTube descriptions and at majority.fm. Quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking to Stephanie Mencimer. We are back. Sam Seder on the Majority Report. Emma Vigeland is out today. Want to welcome back to the program Stephanie Mencimer. She is a staff reporter in the Mother Jones Washington Bureau. And Stephanie, I've been waiting for someone to write a piece about this. And we're in a hard sort of like temporally hard time to sort of fully get a full picture of just how bad it is. But I was saying before the break that as bad as like Trump's corruption is, the real story is how this era of the Trump Republican rule has undermined all sorts of government agencies. And of course, the IRS, they have been gunning for. This has been a Republican project for decades and decades. And I mean, maybe 100 years. I mean, not quite, but close. Tell us, let's start with sort of like anecdotally how you stumbled onto this story. But we had seen, the attacks were blatant. But just give us like your first anecdote. And then I want to go into what the Biden administration had done. So some of the history of the IRS funding.
Sure. Well, I had gotten a letter from the IRS, and after I'd done my taxes, and they said, we've corrected or we've changed your return, and now you owe us a whole bunch of money. And I looked at it, and the numbers were all weird, and I realized as I went through it, I'm like, I don't actually owe them any money. I paid all of this, and they just don't seem to have credited me for my payments. And so I thought this should be easy enough to fix, right? I'll just call them and I'll send them my records, and that should be it. But calling them proved to be impossible. I spent hours and hours and hours on hold with the IRS, getting disconnected. Sometimes I'd be on hold for 2 hours and then get disconnected. Sometimes you call and they say that the phones are so overwhelmed you can't even be put on hold. And I realized, so then I asked my accountant, I was like, is there something I'm missing? I'm like, is there some other way to get in touch with them and resolve this? And she said, I don't know, I can't get through either. And there's like a special line for tax practitioners to be able to help, their clients resolve stuff. And they can't get through that either. And that's when I realized, oh, wow, it's finally broken. And part of the reason I realized that is that last year I did a story on the IRS about all the layoffs and the job cuts, because I'm from Ogden, Utah, and there's a giant IRS service center in Ogden. And so like my relatives had worked there. Everybody works at the IRS if you live in Ogden long enough. And so I was there as they were laying off all these people, and people warned last year that like, oh, they're doing all this during tax season and it's going to be a disaster. The tax season is going to implode, whatever. But it didn't really, because they hadn't fully finished getting rid of everybody, because they put all these workers on like administrative leave. They paid them not to work, but they were still there through tax season. And so a lot of those people didn't actually leave the IRS until like October. So we're just now starting to see the impact of what all those job cuts meant for like customer service functions at the IRS. And as I discovered, it was really bad.
Let's just go back a little bit. The underfunding the IRS seemed to be a bipartisan project, really, in the, I'm thinking the aughts and even the teens. If you look at the graph of funding for the IRS, it just sort of slowly goes down. And simultaneously, what we saw is the percentage of audits of people making not much money went up relative to people making a lot of money, because it's just more expensive. You need more manpower, person power, to go after wealthy people because they have more sophisticated sort of tax dodges. And then during the American Rescue Act, and I guess the IRA under Biden, we saw a big bump in IRS funding. How much of that money landed before it was all sort of like stripped away?
Well, they took it away in phases. So I think that initially it was something like $80 billion they were going to invest in the IRS, and that was going to go to like hiring customer service people and auditors and investigators, and also upgrading the technology, which was really out of date. And then Congress clawed it back in kind of chunks. And I think in the end, maybe it was like 10 or 13 billion that they did actually get to hang on to. But you probably remember there were people like Ted Cruz were warning that, Biden was going to hire 87,000 jackbooted thugs at the IRS to go and torture American citizens over their taxes. And so they really politicized, this really basic function of just collecting revenue for the government and turned it into something, nefarious, when in fact, it's just the way things have to work if you want to have a functioning democracy.
And if I remember correctly, the data came in and we started seeing the audit rate for people making over $400,000 went up, but everything else stayed essentially static. And we also know that for every dollar you spend on IRS enforcement, you make like $7. I mean, this is the biggest, one of the best return on investments we could have in the government, it seems.
Well, it all pays for itself. It really does. And it's, there's some, they measure in, I forget what they call it, but there's a gap between how much people actually owe and what they actually pay. And it's getting wider and wider because people on the upper end of the income scale just aren't paying. And they know they can get away with it. So as long as that's the case, there's all kinds of revenue that the government should have that's going uncollected.
And what we're looking at now, though, is sort of almost another tier level of a problem that is just completely dysfunctional. They got rid of the I can't remember what they called it, the freedom file or whatever it was that they had piloted. Will you tell us just a little bit about that? Because that seems like they're really trying to ruin the IRS. They want it to it seems like just completely go away.
Well, I think that they just also want to punish like normal people. That's my, when I was sitting on hold for hours trying to get through, I mean, the direct pay, my understanding was that it was basically so that you don't have to pay TurboTax to file your really simple 1040 form. You should be able, the idea was you should be able to just file your taxes online, especially if they're not too complicated, and it should be free. Like, you shouldn't have to pay these companies to buy their software and then have to pay to submit it when you're doing something that you have to do, and the government is happy to have you do it online, because also getting people to file their taxes online is good for, less paper. They don't have to hire as many people to open the mail and stuff like that. So it was a win-win all the way around. But TurboTax, I think, had fought this for years. And so I think the Trump people just caved and said, yeah, okay, we'll get rid of that. And, God forbid the government should actually work right and help people do something that they need to do.
It was piloted, I think, in the first year of the Biden administration. And then by last year, I think it was available to just about everybody, and then it was abruptly cut off. I'm not even sure I would characterize it as a cave as much as it is like we just got around to getting rid of it for you guys. What have you heard? There's a lot of anecdotes in your piece, but what have you heard in terms of like actual data to suggest that there is a tremendous amount of dysfunction at the IRS? I mean, it's a brilliant plan, right? If you want to turn the American public against the IRS, and they're doing the same thing with Social Security, as far as I can tell, you just make it really difficult for people to deal with them. And the harder you make it, the more people are going to resent the agency and not necessarily realize it's because it's woefully underfunded.
Right. And I think, so the data they're talking about is the IRS's own data says that they are not responding to phone calls. It's remarkable. Like, millions of people call the IRS. And this data actually, I think, mostly comes from during the tax filing season, and which is bad because the numbers were bad during the tax filing season, even though the Trump administration actually tried to keep that from being a total disaster. They moved a lot of people around to make sure that they answered more phones. So they cut 40% of the IT department at the IRS, and the people that were left, they didn't keep them doing IT. They had some of them like answering the phones just because they didn't have enough people to do customer service. And so they had this kind of triaging during tax season. But as one of the former taxpayer advocate told me, she said, where I, measure the effectiveness of the agency is on April 16th. It's the day after everybody files their returns. And that's when the IRS starts sending all these letters like the one I got saying, you did it wrong, or actually you owe us way more money than you paid, or whatever. And that's when people actually need to interact with the agency. Because like 99% of taxpayers never need to talk to the IRS. They just send their taxes in, everything is fine. They get their refunds and they go about their business. But for the other people who have a problem, they really do need to talk to somebody. And there's not always a technological fix for this. And so that's where you start to see the cracks and that things are really imploding, because I talked to all kinds of lawyers who represent low-income taxpayers and people who just practice tax law. And they said, some of them, there was one guy I talked to who's been doing this for 50 years. And he said, I've never seen it this bad. I have like 5 or 6 cases I'm just completely stymied on because I can't get through to anybody at the IRS. There is nobody there. And, as the former HR director from the IRS who got pushed out early last year by DOGE, she told me, she said, well, you can't expect to get rid of 30% of your workforce and still function. And that's, I think, what we're seeing.
And so is that the 30%? Do we have a breakdown of, like, you say, was it 40% of the IT department was gotten rid of? That seems like a bad idea to me. But how much do we know what the percentages are in the different sort of like aspects of the way they operate?
I don't have all that right in front of me, but it was across the board. I mean, obviously they took aim at stuff like, anybody who audited rich people, money laundering, that all went out the door. I actually talked to, people who had been involved in money laundering operations, that those people are gone. They're all the tech people, customer service, the people who do nonprofit work, because, God forbid you should audit like a Tea Party group or something, or, some political nonprofits. So they're not really auditing political nonprofits, but pretty much it's across the board. Everybody, they're all the way from the mailroom and up to upper management. I mean, they haven't had an IRS commissioner since Trump took office. They've gone through a bunch of people. I guess maybe they confirmed Billy Long, but they've made up a fake job to be the CEO of the IRS because they can't get anybody confirmed in this position because Trump hasn't picked anybody who's competent.
We should say Billy Long, who was the first nominee, he had come up with some type of like commercial scheme about taxes, hadn't he, or something to that effect? Or he was pitching like a plan to evade taxes, prior to this. Just a couple of things that you wrote here. You cite a report to Congress from the Taxpayer Advocate Service, which was an independent agency within the IRS, found that live humans answered 20% fewer calls during the tax season. Hold times jumped anywhere from 81 to 161%. Only 17% of the calls handled by the voice bot system were completed. The worst service came on phone lines dedicated to people who owed money and needed help, such as an installment plan. Live operators answered only 30% of more than 3 million calls over the first 4 months of the year. It goes on and on. Where did you get any comments from the administration or people working in the IRS to the extent that they showed that they cared, that this was considered a problem? I imagine there's still a lot of people working at the IRS who are pulling their hair out about this, but any of the people who are in a position to make decisions, is there a plan, or is it just to literally let this thing sort of just fall apart?
Well, I think they finally have realized that they went too far, and they're trying now to scramble to hire people. They're having these hiring fairs, and I think they got authorized to hire another 8,000 people. But I don't think it's going very well, because after what they did to the federal workers, I don't think a lot of people are rushing to go back there. But I tried asking. Well, it was funny. While I was writing the story, weirdly enough, I started getting press releases from the IRS. They must have hired a new press person. And so they started sending me these press releases about IRS holding Saturday hours in its taxpayer assistance center. And this is so great. And we're going to be helping people. And so I emailed the woman back. I said, hey, I just happen to be writing a story about this, and also these taxpayer assistance centers, which, you've closed all of them mostly this year. And I had to send them my questions, and then she never responded. But she sent me a new press release yesterday about something from the IRS was doing. And so I have no idea what the strategy is. I mean, I don't think there was one. I think that DOJ just came in and they wanted the data. There were those guys who walked out of there with USB drives full of Americans' personal information. I think they thought they would be able, they were so smart, they would just be able to whip the place into shape with some easy technological fix. And it turned out that it wasn't that easy. And I think there's also just some sort of nihilism involved, that they just wanted to destroy the place, and that's what they've done.
Have you, are you aware of any members of Congress or that, presumably Democrats, who are like creating a dossier, or like, this is what we need to do on day one? We need to have legislation that rebuilds the IRS. I mean, I wonder if this is happening for any agencies, but I mean, it should be. But have you heard of anybody?
I have not. I think that members of Congress are aware. Actually, some of them are probably painfully aware that this is happening, because when I talk to advocates and lawyers who work with people who've got tax problems, they said when they can't get through the phone lines, they just go straight to their representative. So all these people who have tax problems are trying to use their Congress people as a backdoor to get through and solve these issues. And so I haven't dug too deep into that, but members of Congress are definitely hearing from their constituents that they can't get to the IRS. So I don't know what they plan to do about that. And, just generally as a revenue problem, like the cuts that they made, I think that, they're not going to collect something like $900 billion in taxes. So that's a huge hole in the budget. It's like they're going to keep spending all this money on the Iran war, and they're spending $3 million a day to have the National Guard march around in front of my office, doing nothing. And so all that's going to add up, and they're not bringing any money. So I think we're headed for a pretty decent crisis that Congress is going to have to do something about.
I couldn't agree more. I just wish there was somebody out there starting to, I mean, hopefully there's somebody who's got a plan. But Stephanie Mencimer, the piece is in Mother's Jones. The IRS is imploding. Thanks for coming on today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, folks. That's it for the first half of the program. This is honestly, well, there's a lot of things that keep me up at night, but one of the things that keeps me up at night is just this sort of like the IRS, the EPA, the FDA, the CDC. I mean, it would just keep going on. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the FTC, like all of these agencies, like our science research, the NIH, all of these government-funded agencies have been so decimated particularly in terms of like just institutional knowledge. And they're going to be just as dysfunctional, probably worse, frankly, January 21st, 2029, when President Buttigieg is sworn in, or President AOC or
Sarah Nelson.
Sean Fain gets, sworn into presidency. These have to be repaired. And it's very difficult to do that when the American public doesn't have a story about how they're destroyed. I mean, you think about how long conservatives have dined on the idea that the DMV is bad to explain like why you wouldn't give funding to government. And the fact of the matter is that, more often than not, I think the DMV is actually pretty good. Everybody who's interacting with the IRS right now is like, this agency sucks. And it sucks because it's been so disempowered and defunded. And it's going to make it that much harder. We need to start hearing Congress, and hopefully we'll get this if Democrats take the House, and God willing, the Senate will have hearings to create these narratives, essentially these very truthful narratives about what's been going on at these agencies and what needs to be done to fix them and why they're important to the American public. Hopefully I can go to sleep tonight, now that I said that.
At least I got to worry about the sciatica.
What's that?
Still got to worry about the sciatica.
I got to worry about the sciatica and then the cat. I mean, everything. Broken AC. Oh, good. This is important. After 12 years in this office, the air conditioning unit has been fixed. It was, did I tell you what? You saw it, right? Oh,
it was installed incorrectly, apparently.
The air conditioning unit is a built-in unit. We have been in this office, and by we, I mean me, because nobody else here has been here that long, since early 2014. And was it 2014? Yeah.
I mean, I got here 2015.
Maybe it was actually late 2013. And during that entire time, the air conditioning did not work. And apparently the heat must not have been working. It just like was bringing in vaguely cooler or vaguely warmer air.
Sort of placebo.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's on. Must be warm in here.
Yeah, you can hear the motor running.
Exactly. And apparently the two, like the input and the output tubes, I didn't see how they were fixing it, were improperly installed and they were reversed.
Oops. The one thing you don't want to happen.
I'm actually a little chilly.
No, it's been chilly.
That's what
I'm wearing 5-inch
guys
shorts.
Downstairs said. They're like, you guys are gonna need a sweater now. Meanwhile, what are we gonna do with that frickin' thing there? That extra
what do we do with
portable
the
unit.
other one that was
I'll
here?
take it.
He brought that down the basement. Will you take that?
Can I? I'd love to.
I think we can work something out.
If you give it to me, I'll go to the dentist.
That might be worth it because, then it's just going to be like, I need 6 weeks off for all the dental surgery I need. Folks, it's your support that makes this show possible. It's your membership keeps this show surviving and thriving and subsidizes Brian getting a new air conditioner.
And some wooden teeth.
Go to jointhemajorityreport.com. Again, jointhemajorityreport.com. Become a member. Support the show. When you do, you not only get the fun half, but you also get to IM us during the fun half and watch me read just a small percentage. I have even, I would say, based upon where the IRS is now, I have a similar response rate on the IMs. But we just get so many.
We also laid off 40% of our IT crew. So.
Exactly. Also, justcoffee.coop. Fair trade coffee, hot chocolate. Use the coupon code majority, get 10% off. Hey, donate your Twitch Prime subscription to us. You can just do it for a month. Doesn't cost you nothing.
No, actually, you're already paying for it if you pay for Amazon Prime. So
Exactly.
You might as well throw it our way.
Exactly. Also, give us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever it is. Give us a like on YouTube. Tell your friends. Tell your family.
We have had to go to subscriber-only chat on YouTube because we got hit with a massive spam bot thing yesterday. So a good time to subscribe to Majority.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like hundreds of accounts tweeting, like, don't try to silence us. So our mods had to switch to subscriber-only chat.
Who were they? Were they bots? Or?
Yeah, it was like 100 or so of the same kind of bot with
Who were we
going
to try to silence?
The bots, I guess. It's like, don't, because I was trying to like individually ban them, and it was just way too much. It's crazy.
That was during the night stream last night?
Or it might have been Monday, yeah. The last date.
Who do you think is sending those bots? Was it like ads or?
Probably. That's a good question.
Maybe poker and sushi with the bots?
Maybe I don't know. I don't want to accuse Jillian Michaels. No, I'm joking. It's probably not Jillian Michaels.
Do you see how I coded mine? You didn't. I said poker and sushi with the bots.
Somebody should look into whether or not Jillian Michaels is sending bots after us.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird coincidence, but
Matt!
Left Reckoning yesterday, before our stream last night, put up a show with Griscom where we talked about Vivek Ramaswamy talking to a bunch of young fascists at the Young Americans for Liberty conference. The liberty lovers who want to deport hundreds of millions of people with the feds. They booed Vivek for not being American despite being born in Cincinnati.
Where the event was.
Exactly.
In his hometown.
And it's one of those situations where, like, man, this is both these sides. Can they both lose? And we also talk about Bill Maher and how he's always been a horrible, I guess you could call him liberal reactionary. So yeah, check out Left Reckoning at patreon.com/Left Reckoning.
Quick break. We'll be right back. 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, and I don't think it's going to be the same as it looks like in 6 months from now, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to be better 6 months from now than it is 3 months from now, but I think around 18 months out, we're going to look back and go like, wow. What? What is that going on? It's nuts. Wait a second. Hold on for a second.
The Majority Report.
Emma, welcome to the program.
Hey.
Matt.
What is up, everyone?
Nomi Key.
You did it. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Bradley, you want to say hello?
Sorry to disappoint everyone. I'm just a random guy.
It's all the boys today.
Fundamentally false. No, I'm sorry. Women's.
Stop talking for a second. Now let me finish.
Where is this coming from, dude?
But dude, you want to smoke this 7A?
Yes.
Hi, me? This me?
Yes.
Is this me?
Is it me?
It is you.
Is this me? Hello? Is this me?
I think it is you. Who is you? No sound. Every single freaking day. What's on your mind?
Sports. We can discuss free markets and we can discuss capitalism.
I'm gonna go throw up.
Libertarians. They're so stupid, though. Common sense says, of course.
Gobbledygook.
We fucking nailed him!
So what's 79 plus 21?
Challenge Matt.
I'm positively quivering. I believe 96, I want to say.
857-210-501. 1/2. 3/8.
9/11, for instance.
$3,400, $1,900.
6, 5, 4, $3 trillion sold. It's a zero-sum game.
Actually, you're making me think less of it.
But let me say this. Poop.
You can call it satire. Sam goes, it's satire.
On top of it all,
Yeah.
my favorite part about you is just like every day, all day, like
Yeah.
everything you do.
Without a doubt. Hey, buddy, we see you. All right, folks.
It's just the weak being weeded out, obviously.
Yeah, sun's out, guns out. I don't know.
But you should know.
People just don't like to entertain ideas anymore.
I have a question. Who cares?
Our chat is enabled, folks.
I love it.
I do love that.
Look, gotta jump. Gotta be quick. I gotta jump.
I'm losing it, bro.
2 o'clock. We're already late, and the guy's being a dick. So screw him. Sent to a gulag?
Outrageous.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye-bye. We are back. Sam Seder. Fun half. Emma Vigeland out today.
Pre-planned.
Although it didn't occur to me until we're all
pre-planned at
we're
11.
all drinking last night, and then Emma's like, "Oh yeah, don't forget, I'm not in tomorrow." What?
Thanks for the planning.
Yeah. It was also sort of like I'm watching her drink, and I'm like, that's the way I'm like, well, if she's gonna drink that much, I'll be fine for tomorrow. Like a gauge, that's like how we gauge. I gauge the time. Like I'm like, if Matt comes in late, it screws up my whole thing because I decide when I'm going to move from reading this thing to reading that thing, or I've got to print this out or whatever it is, and I get thrown off. Days like when you don't come in or something
The
like
rare
that,
days, yeah.
or when Emma doesn't come in, I get thrown off, and I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for her to come in before I switch to reading about this. And just a little window into how we make the show. You're welcome, folks. Fascinating.
It's like clockwork.
I wonder if, I got to imagine Bill Maher, he's happy about this because he's definitely finds himself to be more relevant when he is, doing his so-called hippie punching. Here is Bill Maher, and really understand what what is foundational about this for Bill Maher. He is a huge Zionist, which is ironic because he's also supposedly very anti-religion. But like Sam Harris before him, it turns out there are some religions he's a little bit more anti about. Like the biggest tell for Sam Harris like a decade ago was, here he is part of the new atheist movement, and like 90% of his speaking tour was at synagogues, brotherhood rooms, and event spaces at synagogues. And it's very fascinating that all of these older Jewish people would be so open to the idea that religion is a problem. But he found that maybe if I focus on a specific religion, it will have a little more resonance with my people.
As the motherlode of bad ideas.
And so, and as increasingly the American public, never mind the Democratic base, it really is the American public, begins to sort of say, what are we doing in terms of supporting this genocidal apartheid state? He is able to sort of wrap his Islamophobia and, his otherization, for lack of a better term, into, some old tropes. And here he is, Bill Maher, upset that there is a caucus, essentially, within the Democratic Party he disagrees with.
However, right before we left, Vice President J.D. Vance was on the show, and I told him that if the Democratic Party keeps going in the direction of the DSA, my vote was in play. And all I heard all vacation was, oh my God, you're a Republican now. No, that's not what I said. I said in play. And here's why. Because
pause it for a second. Let's just it's in play. What the does that mean?
If you want me, come get me.
I'm in play, boys and girls.
Let me tell you what I give a shit about your vote in California being in play.
I just have to put this picture up. This is him last year at the White House with Kid Rock.
He's
and
playing.
Dana White. This is him in play at dinner with the president.
Where I don't read about some newly chosen, exciting new face in the Democratic Party. And then when that face opens its mouth, the Communist Manifesto or some other crazy shit comes out. Again, let's just read the quotes.
Pause it for a second. I want you to also
say.
just listen to the three people laughing in that large
The line
studio.
producer?
Exactly. It's the warm-up comedian, the line producer, and the writer of the joke. Those three guys are laughing, and the rest of the audience is like, what? He's the most popular. He could be the most popular politician in the country. I don't know. He's definitely the most popular Democratic politician at this point, right?
Yeah.
He and Bernie.
60% approval rating in the city he's destroying.
The Communist Manifesto comes out of his mouth.
Or something crazy like that when he doesn't get the pop from Communist Manifesto that he's looking for.
Then he moves on to the buses will be faster.
Its mouth, the Communist Manifesto or some other crazy shit comes out. Again, let's just read the quotes. The DSA platform says you work as much as you are able and no more than needed. If that was any closer to Karl Marx's dictum, from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs, they'd be sued for plagiarism.
Oh my God.
First off, I mean,
I think they know that.
Outside of the picture of Karl Marx. Well, first off, the each according to his needs, it seems to me, is the controversial part of that sentence, right? Like, go back to what he's quoting here. I mean, there may be stuff in the DSA platform I don't agree with. Off the top of my head, I don't know. But look, play that again. You work as much as you are able and no more than needed.
What? The television host wants to take issue with
what? No, you work as much as your boss tells you.
You work till you drop.
Exactly. I hope we all know that 65 to retire is an arbitrary number. Yeah. In some societies, I'm sure people worked until they die. Like what is the thoughtful complaint with you work as much as you are able?
I think that's even a bit much.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, this is a bit conciliatory.
You've got to be completely depleted before you can stop work. Go ahead.
If that was any closer to Karl Marx's dictum, from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs, they'd be sued for plagiarism.
Oh, you drew the line between column A and column B.
Doubt, New York Mayor Mondani once tweeted Karl Marx's words exactly. They're not trying to hide it.
Yes.
Their most popular influencer, Hassan Piker, thinks communism is so groovy.
Nice suit.
He laments the fall of the two of the most murderous regimes in history, the Soviet Union and Chairman Mao's China. Mondani's aide, his top aide, Sia Weaver, said, if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize property, it's over. and impoverish the white middle class.
Oh my God.
That's a goal? You know you're supposed to scare people into voting for you, right? One of the new soon-to-be Democratic Congresspeople, Darlisia Chevalier, supports seizing all properties from landlords and said, seize the means of production. Mendami has said the end goal is seizing the means of production. I think they want to seize the means of production. Now, maybe you missed that in school or missed school altogether, but that's communism. That's communism, which we tried, and it doesn't work.
Wait,
Parties
whoa,
can change.
Excuse me?
Whoa. First of all, it's not communism. Well, when did we try this? Oh, he means humans have tried
the world.
Yeah.
Things are working out pretty good with the system we have right now. It's weird that so many people are voting for Mamdani and liking the work that he's doing.
I don't think it's that controversial about when Hassan says the fall of the USSR. He's not talking about Stalin. He's talking about like Gorbachev, and I think that's arguable that things have gotten worse since the oligarchic capitalists like Putin have been put in charge compared to the USSR.
It's unclear to me whether Russia is in better shape. Right now, it doesn't seem like it, and they seem to be more attempting to rekindle the fire of that type of domination of people. I mean, they're waging a massive war in Ukraine at the moment. But certainly for the political will of our establishment and elite in this country to not have a competition, it seems like for a superpower seems problematic. Scholars will tell you that the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, were in part to prove to the world that we were not racist as we were being claimed by the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It was sometimes it's nice to have a ballast.
And also, I would just say, like, this kind of type of conversation that's stuck in, like, what Gen X thinks of, like, our fight with the USSR. It's ignoring the actual, like, global rivalry that we're currently losing. There's a piece, I forget where this was, but, like, China has just is basically threatening the entire West with their productive capacity. And that's because of communist state putting their might behind it, and now all we have to do is argue like that's not fair.
What is their car? The DTY?
BYD.
Okay, the BYD now is doing a production. I think it's I don't know if it's with, I can't remember who it was, Argentina or they now have developing a car that will run on electricity, gas, and ethanol. Any one of those you can use. Like, I want one of those cars, not just that one with a different, but like their electric cars are lapping our best.
I've heard they've got like a $4,000 one too.
Yeah, no, it's extremely cheap. They're going to be making them in Canada, but they're like, yeah, $8,000 and it goes 500 miles.
Yeah, this is The Economist, and like at one point, it's China won't apologize for overcapacity. And the thing, like Jostein Haag, who's been on this program to talk about this, has said, like, America also does overcapacity, but instead of building too many houses or too many like solar panels, we're building too many aircraft carriers.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, you have to keep up. Who freed the slaves? Republicans, Lincoln. Democrats were the racist party back then, but then JFK got elected and it switched.
Wait, pause it. What?
What happened to FDR? What happened to...
It was really more like the full-on switch really happened not with JFK.
I mean, started under probably FDR, and then it was MLK being locked up during that campaign and Nixon not calling, I think was the sort of famous political event that people talk about where JFK called to try to get MLK out
Well,
of
all the
prison.
Dixiecrats left after the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights
Right.
Act under Johnson. But regardless.
Yeah.
Switched, even 5 years ago. It shunned communists. That changed. Things change. Now the coalition within the DSA, called the Marxist Unity Group, is in ascendance, and I must take them at their word.
girlfriend's
when
age
their
don't
words include, our commitment is to the long-term struggle for a fully liberated, classless society, in a word, communism. What do they have to do? Tweet out, elect more communists? Oh yeah, Sia Weaver did that. Oh. Yes. Good, I'm glad you're shocked. People
Wait, I
gotta
missed the
realize
joke.
this.
I was laughing at the.
He was like, "I'm glad you." He said, "Thank God you finally reacted to something from this monologue that's fallen like a lead balloon."
Good. I'm glad you're.
I do think it was undemocratic for the Democrats to make Sia Weaver our new dictator for everything.
Well, he had to lead with people with name recognition, and he had nothing for them. And the real more egregious ones are people that nobody's ever heard of. Like,
Right. Housing. We've had her on the program, though.
Sia Weaver.
But his audience doesn't know who she is.
But
No,
the right is
they do
making
now.
her.
Oh, definitely.
They're making her a.
Oh, yes. They spent a lot of time talking about her.
She's a woman. But she's actually actively organizing tenants now, which is the same as, I guess,
Communism.
collectivizing agriculture.
Yes. Good. I'm glad you're shocked. People got to realize this is going on.
You're 100% right. Just happy to get a reaction.
Yeah.
Yes, my vote is in play. I'm not voting for anyone who thinks the wrong side won the Cold War or cheers for the Intifada like it's the World Cup. It's so ironic from the people who obsess about colonization. You know what's being colonized now? The Democratic Party.
You're a colonizer. I'm rubbing your glue.
The Democratic, the real Democrats, the indigenous Democrats. Just
new rule. I'm rubber, you're glue.
Good. Let's just listen. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Last month, 2 Democratic congressmen released an open pledge they wanted their fellow Democratic members to sign. It said, "We are capitalist, not socialist. We want safety, not lawlessness. We are proud, not ashamed of America." These should not be hard words for a congressional Democrat to sign on to. You know how many did? 8. 8 out of 212. Guys,
The
really,
worst members of Congress.
Yeah, jeez. I can't name a lot of those guys, honestly.
He should go vote for the Republicans. Your vote's in play.
You're
Go
in
vote
play.
for the Republicans. You just got ejected. We're putting you in the gulag.
You don't think he'll flip California with this vote?
I mean, there's a lot of people who are concerned. Let's just listen to a little more.
This is the swing states. And no, this nonsense is not where most Democratic politicians are right now, but it's also becoming a raging fire festival in the party that neither is anyone putting out. People are actually getting elected now who literally don't think we should have police or prisons or borders. And again, they're not lying about who they are. The media is. Ask Ms. Chevalier about the border. She says, yes, literally abolish the border. You know, if you call a woman a whore and everyone gasps.
Pause it for a
and then the
second.
woman
Hold
says,
on for a second before we get into his making it clear that it's misogyny. He says, if you're asked, they say this. Yet he's literally putting up a thing that says, now deleted messages declaring. I mean, go ahead. This is just so pathetic.
You know, if you call a woman a whore and everyone gasps, and then the woman says, oh, no, he's right, I'm literally a prostitute. Believe her. This crowd literally wants to get rid of our form of government, the Senate, but also, and I quote...
Pause it. Dingell. Long-time serving congressman, one of the longest time serving congressmen I think we've ever had, John Dingell, I believe, said we should get rid of the Senate. Will you look that up just to confirm? But I'm quite sure that he had said that.
Well, wasn't it Cornyn who's like, yeah, we can't do anything to rein in Trump. Well, what are you there for? Let's see here.
Keep going. He did say that? Yeah.
Place the president and Supreme Court with an executive and judiciary chosen by and subordinate to Congress. Yeah, no biggie. Just taking the very essence of our government, which is 3 branches checking each other and shit-canning 2.5 of them. Who could be this nuts? I'll tell you who. Morons who are still wearing COVID masks in 2026.
Those are not COVID masks.
It's quite a crowded room there. I don't know.
You should not wear a mask that has been dipped in COVID. That I would definitely agree with. I wonder if it's possible there are people who are immunocompromised in those rooms, and the difference between that room and another room where there's immunocompromised people is that the other people in that room actually give a fuck about keeping those people safe.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was at the DSA.
How gross! Like, just this is how twisted he is. Because I believe he genuinely believes this shit.
I do too. That's why he's not getting any laughs, because there's zero illusion of comedy happening here.
John Dingell, in the epilogue of his 2018 memoir, called for abolishing the U.S. Senate. He was one of the longest serving, I think, members of the House. The idea that, like, people being concerned about other people, so they're wearing masks, is somehow disqualifying the reformation, the reform programs that people are calling for in terms of, like, the Supreme Court and others. You know, some ideas are better than others, but the idea that these things need to be desperately reformed and that the Constitution wasn't set up to protect property owners and the oligarchy, essentially, is just ahistorical and anti-intellectual and just dumb. And he's dumb.
It's a good sign. If you care about like the left of center things moving forward in this country, it's actually a good sign when movements start talking about reforming the Senate or the Supreme Court. For instance, when the Supreme Court was talked about last time I remember in history is the 30s when FDR was pushing through stuff, and that was a time of
do you know what
intense change.
Bill Maher would have said about FDR?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. Go ahead.
This photo is from the DSA meeting in Denver 3 weeks ago. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Since the far left, the far, far left, is overwhelmingly made up of affluent, ultra-woke white people, you raised your kids wrong. You told your precious brats that every brain fart was genius, and now those brain farts are becoming Democratic Party policy.
Honestly, all right, we're done with this. I mean, this guy pretending that he's a genuine Democrat, and the longest stretch of Democratic control in this country was a function of FDR. And there isn't a single policy that FDR pushed that he wouldn't have disagreed with. Not a single policy. Not the WPA, not the bailout of the homeowners, not the, I mean, we could just go on and on and on.
Maybe the internment camps.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The internment camps.
The internment camps.
Sorry.
Maybe the development of the atomic bomb.
Apologies. You're right. Labor laws. Like, it's just, he's stupid. And he's preying on the stupidity of the country. I mean, like, I don't know if he knows what he's saying is completely ahistorical. The era of Democrats that we're living in now are the ones, historically speaking, or the one, you know, the era of Democrats from essentially like 1990, really 1990, through to up to Biden made some changes, at least as an economic, from an economic perspective. That was the anomaly.
And what do we have to show for it?
You know how hard it is to bomb in that room for him with the warm-up guy, the paid audience there who are being financed to laugh, and still dead silence.
Yeah.
Like, this message isn't working.
Yep.
It's not even working with people paid to like it.
Brain drain notion, or I should say no one can know. Sam, I would just love if Bill invited you onto a show. I like to believe it would make your debate with Tim Pool look like the meeting of minds in comparison. Bill Maher will never have me on his show. I know that his longtime producer, who I think left a while back, Bill Carter, was it Bill Carter? Who was the former producer of his show? Bill Carter was the one, I think, who started his show on Comedy Central. He was the producer. He was
Politically incorrect.
Yeah, he did Politically Incorrect. And
would you do it if Bill would have you?
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right. Side project for me.
Wait, wasn't Bill Carter? It was Scott Carter, maybe. And Scott Carter was yes, I think so. I'm pretty sure it was Scott Carter. He was yeah, he was. He was a big fan of mine, and had said at one point, "Got to get you on the show," and Bill Maher definitely shot it down. Without a doubt.
New rule, no Sam.
New rule. Nobody who could is actually going to challenge me in any way. I mean, I don't really care. No, I don't care.
You would enjoy it. You would enjoy it.
I would enjoy it. I definitely would enjoy it, but it's not something that I've actually in any way held my breath.
I think his arrogance might have reached a point where he would have you on.
No. No, he doesn't. He is very nervous about being challenged, I think. Let's open up the phones, shall we? Well, you only got 50 more minutes. The number is 646-257-3920. This is good news. Here's Harry Enton. Look, for this is number 14. The for years, we have heard Texas is in play. Texas is in play. And a big part of that was a combination of wishful thinking and political entrepreneurs who are part of the consulting class who are trying to raise money because it's a big media state. You make a lot of money in Texas if you're buying the media time as a consultant. Beto O'Rourke, there was a lot of hype, but I don't think he ever had polls quite like this.
The polling is different. The polling is different. This is the best looking polling for Democrats in the Senate race since really the 20th century. You're going to have to go back probably to the late 80s, the last time they won a Senate race out there. When it was Lloyd Benson winning in 1988, because just take a look here. This polling looks so much different than it did 8 years ago. You take a look here, James Tallarico, the latest poll against Ken Paxton. He's actually up by 3 points. Look at where the race was between Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz at this point in the 2018 cycle. Ted Cruz was ahead by 6. This is very different. The Democrat here is doing 9 points better. And what is supercharging that? Look at this. Independents moved from tie to plus 39 points for James Tallarico. Independents, the name of the game, shifting significantly to the left camp and supercharging James Tallarico. It could be real. Every single time I look at the poll, I'm going, this can't be right. This could be very, very real. Democrats have a real shot in Texas.
So 26 different than 2018. Ted Cruz, again, who won, but it was very, very close.
Very close, less than 3 points.
How is Ted Cruz different than Paxton?
How is Ted Cruz different than Ken Paxton? Simply put, Ted Cruz is popular. Ken Paxton is not popular at all. That is, I think, one of the biggest differences in this race. Take a look here. The GOP nominee's net favorability. In July of 2018, Ted Cruz was 8 points above Water. His favorable was 8 points above his unfavorable rating. Look at this side of the screen. Very different indeed. Ken Paxton, 6 points underwater with, get this, among independents, 47 points underwater. No wonder that you're seeing major issues for Ken Paxton in this race so far.
How's the president doing in Texas?
Well, here's the other thing that's going on. How's the president doing in Texas? The president is supercharging Democratic possibilities across red states. Remember, Donald Trump won Texas by double digits, but now he's 9 points underwater. He was slightly underwater back in 2018, but he's much further underwater right now in the great state of Texas.
So Texas, if it were to flip, would be fairly key for the math for Democrats to tie to take back the Senate. What are the prediction markets saying right now about those changes?
You know, all of a sudden you put...
Paid placement. Paid advertising.
Yep.
What does the paid advertising say about this?
It's crazy how shameless it is.
It's so shameless. The interesting thing about this, you look at those polls, and the biggest challenge that pollsters have is like trying to figure out who the electorate is going to be, particularly in off-year elections. And I think, broadly speaking, they probably err on not getting a sense of capturing the enthusiasm gap between Democrats and Republicans. They have their ways in which they can sort of massage their models, and they have their predictions. But that's my bet. So Texas is real, folks. It's real this time. Now, is Tallarico going to be your favorite senator? Probably not. But it's going to make a difference as to who controls the Senate. Win in Texas, win in Maine, win in Michigan, maybe Kansas. There's a caucus. In Montana, we had talked about this. The Democrat who won, you remember, John Tester is not supporting the Democrat. John Tester is supporting the independent, just because the Democratic brand is such garbage in Montana. And the Democrat who won the primary had claimed that she was going to stay in. But
Alano Bankhead?
Yes. And but everybody sort of knew that she was going to drop out. And she has dropped out. Basically paving the way for that independent. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's a reason why, the establishment and these corporatists are freaking out, because, if you get the ballast has always been with the corporate Democrats, but even like in Build Back Better, only Sinema and Manchin could express reservations. There may have been others who had some reservations, but they can't afford to express them. And that's what you want. You want those corporate, they're going to be there. They're getting paid by their donors. But you don't want to give them an open field, essentially, to...
Are you sure she's dropped out? Or are you getting confused with Nebraska?
I thought it
Because
was
Burbank dropped out of Nebraska, but I'm not.
No, I think I just saw that reported today.
Oh, okay.
I think I just saw it reported today. I'm looking for it. I had it here. Know that Chuck Edwards, folks, give me 1 second.
While you're looking for that, there's a funny tweet from Elizabeth Kim. Mamdani was asked if El Sayed is a mini Mamdani, and Zoran said he can lift a lot more than I can.
Proof that they're communists.
Islamo-Marxists.
Calling from a 510 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Sam. This is Will from Oakland.
Will from Oakland. What's on your mind?
I actually just had a quick favor to ask. If you or anyone you know in Hollywood could get the ending song "Pilot Light" onto music streaming platforms, I would appreciate that because I like the song very much.
I think it is. Look up Dave.
Oh, is it not? Okay.
Look up Dave Derby.
Dave Derby. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try
I don't
looking that
know. I think he did it with maybe a Gramercy Arms or who he did it with. Ted Leo once covered it too, but I think that was at a live show.
Huh. All right. Well, I'll check that out. But yeah, I just had the one little request.
Look up
Thank you very
Dave
much.
Derby, DERBY on what is
Song
it?
by Gramercy Arms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
It's
it
on
there?
Apple Music, yep.
Yep, it's on Apple Music. I don't know if it's not the exact same version, I don't think, but he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Gramercy Arms.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. I think I actually, I probably own the rights to that. I should talk to Derby. I'll sue the shit out of him.
Also, if you do the Bob's Burgers soundtrack, you can hear Sam sing on those soundtracks. So put those on your running playlist.
Have you not heard that?
No.
Oh, you're going to pop that up right now.
Is Ham singing?
As Hugo. Calling from a 705 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Oh, that would be me. Hello, gentlemen. My name's Gabriel. I'm calling from an undisclosed location in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, he sort of gave us the location, but go ahead.
Well, so it's big province. Okay, so anyway, I actually tried calling back in May, back when you were toying with the idea of having Graham Plattner on the fun half and taking questions from people like us, and obviously weeks have passed, things have changed, and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Canadians have a vested interest in senator races in states that are close to the border, and, I include Michigan with that, being recent. And basically the question I would have more or less asked is, say Democrats get a majority in the Senate, after the election. January comes. For example, Maine, Michigan, tourism has gone down more than 30%, and a lot of businesses are hurting. And what's going to be done, to, make things more hospitable so that, basically Customs and Border Protection, they, the reasons Canadians aren't coming to the United States is because of fear of arbitrary detainment.
Right. I mean, I'll tell you, the Senate is not going to be able to do anything about that short of, maybe cutting funding for ICE. I think they're going to try and apply pressure, but I mean the fact of the matter is, until we get a Democratic president, there's not going to be much done on that. I mean, look at it. Let's put it this way.
Okay.
If Donald Trump could was willing to do this stuff, you would see, Susan Collins desperately needs him to. And
yeah, she voted to $3.3 billion added to ICE. She was one of the votes.
I mean, so
of recent.
I would imagine, you would have an attempt by the Senate and the House to pass a budget that would cut ICE's budget, and Trump won't sign it. So there's nothing they're going to be able to do in the first 2 years of their term, even if the Democrats take control of the Senate.
I know Janet Mills would have been completely useless. Like, her attitude basically is she's blaming us and, telling people, it seems to be a common mantra in the States, that we're not coming because of the exchange rate. I've well traveled in the U.S. I've been to the U.S. when 2 year dollars were worth 3 of ours. It's
no
fear of arbitrary detainment.
Of course.
And and annexation, just the notion of it's disgusting.
Of course. And, because America's being an a-hole and nobody wants to come here anymore. I don't blame you. Keep a guest house available, though, just in case for us. Appreciate the call.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are other places I'm spending my money in the meantime. I'm exploring my own country. I'm going to London in the fall.
All right.
That's what I'm doing, and hopefully things change in 29.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call.
Okay.
I mean, how about bragging a little bit?
History repeats itself. Try and you'll succeed.
You've got a tough day ahead of you, Bob.
You're the one, and you can have your dreams. You're the best around.
Ooh, like sand through his hourglass.
All right, that's it right there.
So you don't really do a voice.
Huh?
You don't really do a voice.
The singing, yeah, I do a voice. I go up and register.
That's not how you sing in the shower?
Honestly, that's the only full song I think I've ever sung in my entire life. And they were like, that's really funny how you were able to do that. And I'm like, I was just singing.
Only song you've ever sung.
Sam sings Husker Du with the same voice.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I've ever completed a full song. Even when I sing Happy Birthday, my kids are like, please.
Walking around with your head in the clouds makes no sense at all.
Exactly. You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna break you down. Max Miller has had an interesting couple of days. We've got about...
We'll do 9/11.
Which one should we do here first?
I think 9 first and then 11.
Yeah, I was thinking if we're going to whittle it down, those are...
9 and then 11. But, okay, before we do that, let's just start with number 6 and the... where are the two clips about why we know Marino has...
11?
Was it 11?
11 is the second. That's the Newsmax version of the threats for Marino.
Oh, no, but I wanted the two with Jake Tapper. Let's do just the opening of this interview. We have said that we take a very dubious perspective on Senator Marino's famous practical joke that was played on him by an intern who, while several miles away from Marino's parents' house in Florida, the intern, of course, as a lot of interns do, they love to do practical jokes on the boss, signed him up for Grindr and had conversations with people on Grindr. One of the best practical jokes ever.
It's a shame when pranks turn into nasty rumors.
Yeah, and it's unclear to me how Marino found out about it. I wonder if the intern came into work after his vacation in Florida where he signed him up because... And comes in and goes, hey, boss. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's Grindr. Oh, I'm just on it. And look whose profile's on here.
Anyway, can I get a reference for my next job?
And I'm sure Marino was like, that's a good one. You got me. You're promoted. Well, here is Max Miller alluding to something that Marino was afraid was going to come out in a live stream.
So, Congressman, let's start there with your former father-in-law's story today about your daughter and the little blue bunny doll that she cannot sleep without. If it's true, that sounds like emotionally abusive behavior toward a toddler to refuse to give it to her when she can't sleep without it.
Jake, I would agree that if that were true, that would be incredibly disturbing and that the senator would be right. However, he has taken 2 years to publicly acknowledge for me to resign from my seat. Why is that, Jake? If he truly believed, like I'm a father to a 2.5-year-old daughter, I believe that you're also a father to children. And I don't know if you're actually a father to a daughter. But what I can tell you is, well, Jake, then what I can tell you is that if my daughter came to me and she said, my ex-husband did X, Y, and Z, and then I waited because I was nervous that a political live stream was going to expose a deeply impersonal, embarrassing matter to the senator for him to take that action. Sadly, this has nothing to do with my daughter,
Pause
Jake.
it for a
and
second.
that's what this.
Now, Tapper keeps letting this slide, but he was afraid that a live stream would reveal a deeply personal situation. The question that I would ask if I'm Jake Tapper is, what are you referring to? Now, maybe Miller just sort of like accidentally dropped that in the interview, but then he accidentally drops it again. Play number 8.
A judge would have taken our baby girl out of my hands. What you have is a very sadly politically motivated scenario to where, you know, people want to see me go away, and all of this happened, and I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Take it for what you want. Look, this live stream, the impetus for the resignation, okay, came because an individual thought something was going to be said on that live stream that I had no intention of saying, and I still do not have any intention.
But here's the thing: you're talking about a level
again, you
of
just
standard
let
of proof
this
that has
slide
to
by.
do with.
He's saying the reason why the call for my resignation happened with a live stream, and I guess that's the one where he was on Instagram,
right?
And he said, you know, these charges are not,
Here she is a couple moments later, looking happy on a Ring camera.
Yeah, right. And he is claiming that Marino was afraid that he was going to reveal something on that live stream. I would ask, what are you talking about?
Maybe there were parts of the big, beautiful bill he didn't support.
Exactly.
Also, just by the logic of Max here, it's like, why didn't he come forward a while ago? It's like, well, clearly you have blackmail on him. That you're hinting at right now.
So, but here's the thing.
We want to move on, or is this?
Yeah, let's move on to what's the next one we should do here? Miller's all over the place. He went on to. Well, let's go to we should do number 9.
Yeah.
Because it's not just.
You can leave it there.
It's not just the charges that Marino withheld the bunny from his kid, and that the kid had said at one point to the mother, "Daddy, kill you." This is not the first Max Miller's first rodeo. Let's put it this way.
You're talking about a level of standard of proof that has to do with judges, and there is separately a different level when it comes to what kind of behavior is tolerated among public officials, because there are now 3 women who have accused you of violent behavior. Politico published a report in 2021 that says when you were in high school, you, quote, pushed a girl out of the dorm of his room and she fell down some stairs after he became enraged when she resisted his attempts to touch her, according to 3 people who were there and many more who heard about the incident in the aftermath. Now, you deny that, but the woman in question told Mother Jones reporter Abby Vasulis just days ago that it happened and was, quote, one of the more traumatic nights of her life.
Well,
now,
I would love for that individual to go on the record because that.
Okay.
Jake, I was
hold on, because I'm not done with the list of women that have accused you of violence. Then there is former White House press secretary. Okay, you were young. Then there's a former White House press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, who was your ex-girlfriend. She accused you of being abusive and having a violence. She wrote in her book, quote, I could do nothing right by him. I would wake up every morning shaking with anxiety about his mood that day. I had seen his temper before and it had scared me, unquote. She has recently filed a temporary restraining order against you in a defamation case. And now there are these claims from your ex-wife, Emily Marino. And I guess the question is, are all three of these women who don't know each other, are all three of them lying?
Yes, it's very easy, and I can tell you why. Every single time, and people have asked me, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to drop out of this race? Are you going to resign? You know, are you going to get out before the deadline? And my answer to you, Jake, is no. And I can tell you why. In 2016, when President Donald J. Trump faced the most extreme allegations in the world that hit him day after day after day, and people in the media, very much like yourself and others, said that he would have no shot at winning, that he should not be the President of the United States. But guess what? He stayed in and he was resilient. And what the American people can see is that they can see that somebody is fighting who is resilient, and that is a quality that the American people cherish. And so for no second am I going to sit here and continue to be debased by false and baseless allegations and be pushed out of a seat I have worked so hard to represent and done a terrific job for our community. You know, my record in Congress on the Ways and Means and
I just want to be clear on what the question was. Are all three of these women lying who don't know each other? And he said, oh, Donald Trump had a lot of accusations too, and he didn't care, so why should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not really addressing the substance of the question.
Why all these women in your life have serious concerns about
Also,
you.
you think it's appropriate to refer yourself as a fighter in this situation?
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for me.
I'll fight every woman in the state for you.
Let's go back. He goes on to Newsmax, and it really feels like he has a talking point about why this stuff came out, and it sort of seems like a veiled threat, but I don't know what he's going to do about it. This is number 10.
Everything that's happening right now is sadly political, because no father of a daughter who would come to them with these ridiculous allegations would wait on their hands for 2 years and do nothing, only because he felt the political pressure because some of the nasty rumors that were circulating about him that he doesn't want to get out. And that has nothing to do with me. I have no intention of sharing what will eventually become public. But this was nothing more than a political move because he knows I've never hurt his daughter, I've never hurt our granddaughter, and if that was true, 3 different investigations would have removed my daughter from me throughout all of this.
Okay.
Wow. There's some nasty rumors going around that will come out as true.
Again, he doesn't understand that also explains why he might have kept quiet about his ex-son-in-law, who probably knows the same things.
Very bad argument.
Why is he so quiet, this guy that I'm going to now say is blackmailed?
And every news network across the country.
This is number 11.
Yeah.
And this is, well, at the very least, he said he's not going to reveal the rumor. So we know this is not the rumor, but it's clearly the guy has decided I'm going to start to drab out some of the drama within the family.
Right now, that I have been seeking therapy for the last 10 years of my life. I did not just go recently seek therapy last week or 2 days ago. I've been seeking therapy for the last decade, and I actually think that it's incredibly healthy for people to do so.
It is, and there are millions of Americans that do the same thing.
But what I don't like is what the senator did, is that, you know, he took something that was very personal and private, and he's now tried to weaponize it as something that is, you know, laid out to be dangerous when it's not. When he knew and that I knew, we've had personal, private conversations about mental health history, and in his own words, he told me that I could leave his daughter if I wanted to, and he offered her $5 million to go away. And these are private conversations that we've had together, and unfortunately, him and I were very close. But the only thing that ripped us apart, sadly,
Bernie Moreno offered his own daughter $5 million to leave you?
No. Bernie Moreno offered his daughter $5 million to leave him and the family.
Explain that.
Several years ago, Emily was such a problem for the family that Bernie Moreno, as Emily has told me, as well as her siblings, that in an argument, Miss Moreno dislocated Mr. Moreno's finger in an argument and offered her $5 million to leave the family forever. And I want to make something abundantly clear, Rob. I'm a father to a daughter.
Do you have any proof of that, Congressman?
Besides me being there as a witness within the family when we had good times, yeah, I was there, and I can affirm that to be true. And but overall,
okay, so
Rob,
no,
everything that's happened.
Okay, so basically, as I understand it, Marino said to his son-in-law, "It's okay for you to leave my daughter," and then went on to offer the daughter $5 million to leave the family.
Which doesn't explain why 3 women accuse you of violence. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, that's...
He has this weird, the thing that Stephen Miller has. I don't know what's
Dead
going
eye.
on there. Yeah, and like this affect that's like sort of...
It sounds like they put him on like benzos or something to control his temper.
Yeah, I think that's true.
He probably would start screaming.
He does seem a little bit sedated. Yeah. Well, you know, I just want to say, it's so sad to see this this type of upheaval within the family
and the Republican Party.
In the Republican Party, it's really a shame.
No, there's allusions to secrets that are.
I think Max Miller, looks like he should resign because of this, and I actually think that Bernie Moreno should also resign.
Yeah.
In fact,
and seek the help they need.
I would think that like anybody, at the very least, we can rely on Mike Johnson to step in. I'm sure he wants to get his hands dirty here.
Miller's
now,
ex-wife
one
said
of the things that's sort of fascinating about this dynamic with Mike Johnson is you have Bernie Moreno, who has, according to his son-in-law, a big secret that Moreno does not want to get out.
He's really afraid.
That he's really afraid is going to get out. It has nothing to do with offering his daughter $5 million to leave the family. And simultaneously, almost like, like a week or two ago, you had Hunter Biden. Did you guys ever play that clip with him with Don Lemon?
No, was that the one where he's talking about?
So Don Lemon asks him, Hunter Biden, you've said that there's a lot of closeted gay men in the Republican Party.
The closetocracy, I believe.
And Biden says, I'm not going to tell you who it is. You know who it is, Don Lemon. And Don Lemon's like, I don't know if I do. And Hunter Biden's going like, are you asking me if Mike Johnson is gay? I don't know. Are you asking me if Josh Hawley is gay? I don't know. Are you asking me if Stephen Miller is gay? I don't know. Which I thought was a very interesting response.
Right. Wait, this Josh Hawley? Oh, sorry. This is muted. Hold on here.
But
needs to be a mighty man of valor.
It raises the question of how Mike Johnson's gonna, if he's gonna wade into this. Because it's clear Bernie Moreno was nervous about Max Miller telling some secret about Bernie Moreno that people seem to know. I wonder if Mike Johnson has the same fear. I mean, that's why Moreno was shut up about it. But I'm sure Mike Johnson, hey, look, this is happening in his caucus. You don't want a thrice accused woman batterer to be in your caucus, I'm sure.
Miller's ex-wife said he poured hot water on her, held a gun to her head, broke their daughter's collarbone. Miller has, of course, denied these allegations, but today he said on CNN that you are, quote, standing behind him. Are you?
I haven't spoken to Max in a few days. I've been traveling nonstop and haven't had an opportunity to do that. I think what Max is suggesting there is that I've been intellectually consistent, always have, since before I became speaker, and certainly over the last almost 3 years, This applies equally to Republicans and Democrats. We don't take disciplinary action against members for allegations. He is vehemently denying this. It's, in his own words, a nasty divorce proceeding, and it's gotten ugly and it's gotten public. But he's saying the same things privately to members that he is publicly, that he denies all this and he thinks it's a hit job on him.
Will you tell him to drop out?
No, I will tell Max what I tell everyone. These are serious allegations. I'm the father of 2 daughters who work in Capitol Hill. I mean, the allegations are serious. I think Max is taking them seriously. I think our colleagues are. But again, we have to allow this process to play out. It's just begun.
I mean, the president called him. Max Miller said this, that the president called him and told him, things aren't looking good for you.
Well, I mean, they don't look good right now, of course. But again, like, what should a speaker do in this case? I mean, I call out alarming behavior. I try to work every day on decorum and on the ethics of the House. We have a very active and engaged ethics committee. They've done more work than they need to. I wish it wasn't necessary, but there's been a lot in this Congress on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see him invoke your name because he has also not been the most generous toward you. He said that he wouldn't support you for re-election as Speaker or Minority Leader. He also said that you're dividing Republicans with a smile.
Look, I think you could ask every other Republican, they would tell you that's not true. And look, Max has had a lot of issues in his life. I don't return fire. That doesn't bother me. And there's a lot of criticism that comes with the job. I'm not going to use this situation to say something negative about him. He's got to work out the things in his family life, and that's an issue for the voters of Ohio's 7th District. It's an issue for the Miller family to work out, and the Moreno family.
And please don't out me.
Yeah, who else had 2 kids was Oscar Wilde.
Oh,
so
do tell.
Very funny that in the Republican Party, the Epstein files are not disqualifying, but being gay is.
Yep. Oh, without a doubt.
It's just ridiculous.
It also makes you wonder, what is Mike Johnson's son policing his phone about? Was it just generic porn or specific porn? I guess we'll never know.
Or will we? Or is it burbling to the surface?
Calling from an 801 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from? We got to end the show a little bit early. I'm going to be doing Zateo's a Zateo show. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hello, is this me?
Yes, it is.
Hello, this is Sean from Missouri.
Sean from Missouri. Now, do we say Missouri or do we say Missouri? You must be from where? From St. Louis?
Well, no, I'm actually, I live in Springfield. I don't have the accent because I was actually born and raised in Utah.
Okay.
So I say Missouri, but I definitely run into a lot of people who would say Missouri. They would also say things like milk instead of milk, but that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to call in, and I guess I had 2 things I wanted to talk about, just like one thing about Missouri politics, and then I just have something about the show.
Okay.
Most of the coverage on the election yesterday had been on Amendment 4, which you covered briefly in the headlines about ballot reform.
Yep.
And thankfully that lost by a wide margin. Honestly, I was pretty shocked at how large of a margin that failed by. But there was another amendment on the ballot that also thankfully failed. It was number 5, that would have essentially turned Missouri into a state kind of like Florida with no income tax, and raised sales taxes on a whole bunch of other products and stuff. And I was really worried that would pass as well because, it's a red state. A lot of people just see, tax cut, I'll vote for it. But that also failed by a similar margin. Obviously, the main headline is very tragic that Cori Bush lost. I don't live in St. Louis, like I said, but it's very tragic. Cori Bush lost the primary to Wesley Jones. And, Missouri doesn't get as much coverage as states like Michigan, for good reason in some ways. But, we do have a problem with money in our politics here. And it's really sad that Cori Bush has really been the only candidate that has tried to speak to that at all. I mean, I love St. Louis. I love Kansas City. But the politics there have really, really fallen behind the rest of the country, in my opinion, because Missouri, I think, has the ability to be a purple state. Maybe not this cycle, maybe not the next, but I really think that is a possibility with the way that things are going. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that. And then if you have time, I had something
quick
that I wanted to talk about regarding the show. Yeah, okay. So a while ago, you were talking about there was a discussion about Israel and whether or not it's kind of representative of Judaism. And I just kind of want to like push back, not necessarily on the things you were talking about, but I just think like focusing on that in the discussion, I think is sometimes not very productive, because whether or not Jews are truly represented or Israel is truly like representative of being a Jewish state, I think it's really immaterial. And I know that you all agree with that. So I just find it kind of confusing sometimes.
I'm not sure I understand. I'm not sure I understand how you characterize what we were saying. Explain.
It was, sorry. It was a while ago, but basically you had this whole conversation about how the kind of politics and practices inside of Israel don't represent, Jewish values, don't represent the Jewish religion. And I agree with that. I think that's all true, but I just sometimes think that it can be a little bit unproductive to focus on that part of it, because, even if it was representative of Jews, in America or in the world largely, it wouldn't justify any of it, apartheid or genocide or anything like that.
No, I agree. But I think I'm saying as a Jew that my Judaism and that Judaism as a religion or even as a people is not dictated by Israel. I mean, I think
100%.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the way you're characterizing it. I'm not even sure I understand what you're saying that we said. But I think it's important because this conflation of support of Israel or Israel with Judaism and Jews is really problematic, I think, for Jews. And I think it's and the way that it's wielded is really problematic for discussing our support of the nation of Israel. So, I mean, that's why that comes up.
And it's like a primary propaganda plank. Like Scott Jennings was going to David Axelrod for that last night.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so, so that's the value of talking about it that way, because decoupling Judaism and from the way that we talk about Israel as a country is, I think, a very important project to, impact American policy towards Israel.
Yeah, that all makes sense. Well, I appreciate you taking my call. I won't take up any of your time. I will just say I've been a long-time listener, and I've tried to get a lot of my friends that are more politically disengaged to kind of listen to the show. And I think one of the values of the show is that the show can be very funny. So, maybe have some more. I know you guys never have time anymore to have like funny people on. But maybe have some more comedians on. I think people really appreciate that, and it kind of
we don't
hooks people in
have
sometimes.
funny people on, Brian. I mean, should we? I'm not sure.
Well,
stop having Tim Heidecker on.
You mean professional?
The Heidecker thing was great. I
just paid my rent doing it for 10 years. Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it. I'm sure Brian doesn't mind.
Thousands and thousands of people laugh.
All right.
I wasn't trying to diss anyone in particular, but
You did it without even trying.
One of the things we got to do is upgrade the callers too. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate the call. Bye.
I've actually been paid to perform in Springfield, Missouri at the Blue Room.
Whoa, wow.
Maybe he wasn't there. It went well. It went very well. Some people say it went better than anybody has ever done comedy before in the history of Springfield, Missouri. Some people say that.
Some people. You just did. Calling from a 678 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, is this me?
Yes, it is.
Hey, this is Chuck from Atlanta.
Chuck from Atlanta. What's on your mind?
Well, first, I'd just like to say congrats on the show. My wife has watched Heated Rivalry 5 times, so she's really excited that she's going to get to catch you.
I am neither
on the next
confirming
one.
nor denying.
Hey, it's your business. I was calling because I wanted to bring attention a law that's kind of, I would say it's stalled in the House right now, or maybe it's just being a little bit neglected, but a common sense law that we have gotten passed here in Georgia called Trey's Law, Treys law. And essentially what that law states to do is ending the use of non-disclosure agreements against childhood victims of sexual assault. NDAs, as we all know, are not used for things like that. They were designed for trade secrets, but unfortunately predators and pedophiles have been using them to kind of silence victims. And so this was brought by Texas because Trey Carlock is named after him. He was a victim of sexual assault and took his life, and so his sister has taken it upon herself to kind of change the law. And so I kind of wanted to bring that to you guys, to your platform, to kind of get more people aware about that. If people could call their representatives and just let them know, like, this is at their desk, and we're hoping to get this passed, and it will go straight to Trump after that. It's passed unanimously in the Senate already, so there's already some legs to this, but we just kind of want to get this thing moving along because it's really, really important.
That's great. Is there a site where people can get more information on this?
Yeah, if you just Google Trey's Law, there's a website, treyslaw.org, and it covers everything. It shares Trey's story as well as just easy, practical ways that people can get involved and take action.
We will put that link in the podcast and YouTube description. Thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yes. I mean, frankly, I'm in favor of the vast majority of NDAs being out. I mean, it's one thing. I had to sign an NDA. I got to go back and read it. I had to sign one because they don't want me to reveal stuff about the show so that they can control the PR. Fine. I don't care about that. But when people have done illicit things and they hide behind NDAs, that's a real problem.
We got an IM years ago talking about they worked at a fancy restaurant here in Manhattan, and they signed NDAs to be on the staff because of how the rich clientele behave, and they aren't allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, very normal. Yeah, that happens all the time.
It's so nuts.
Regarding the first caller, number 15 goes into that pretty well if you want to end on that.
15? Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do that. That's perfect Italian. Jon Stewart interviewed John Fetterman, and I thought he was pretty gentle with Fetterman. Fetterman has made defending Israel and attacking Iran sort of like the tentpole of his entire political life. It's fascinating.
Especially for a guy who looks like he should perform in a tent.
Yeah. Here is Jon Stewart sort of just walking Fetterman through this. And I think here's the thing. Fetterman does not go on to any type of media that is even remotely hostile. It doesn't even seem to be Zateo asks him one question as he's walking, and he just goes into a rant and rave about how psychotic they are. But I think he was surprised that Jon Stewart was going to question him in any way. And he doesn't seem to have any fundamental basis for his entire approach. You can decide as to why that's the case. But here is this.
So for you, you could agree with them 90%, but Israel is the red line.
Absolutely, Israel for me.
I should make it clear. Stewart's asking him. You seem to share the politics with a lot of these progressives, but in this one area you don't.
It's a great angle to take.
Yep.
For me, I can't ever turn my back to Israel after where it's at.
So, and I mean no disrespect on this, but that is not our country. You're saying that these candidates may have great ideas for our economy. They may want to do the exact same thing you want to do in terms of getting money out of politics. They may want to increase the social safety net. They may want to change the balance of power from capital back to labor. But if they don't agree with you on Israel, you don't want them in your party.
Well, I don't know who you're referencing to specifically.
No, I'm referencing what you just said.
Name
So
one.
in other words, Syed or AOC or Bernie Sanders, I assume you agree with a lot of what they say economically.
And what I'm saying is, like, if you are a DSA member, if you are a member of a specific political party, run under your own banner. And now I think Bill Maher said something very insightful. He said, you know, the DSA are colonizing the Democratic Party. So just be Democrats if you're going to run under the Democratic Party for that. Why have a DSA party for overall? So run on that, and you all understand.
It's just an organization. It's not, we have a two-party system. We don't, it's like the Freedom Caucus in the Republican Party. There are, you know, there's Randy Fine and Ogles and all these nutbags that are also part of an area, and Republicans, I'm sure, may not agree with all of them on all kinds of things, but there is no other party.
Well,
I guess you could try it, but my point is, if you don't disagree with them on a lot of things, why not use some of that energy? And even like Mamdani in New York is DSA, but there are things in the DSA platform that he disagrees with. And I'm assuming there's probably things in the Democratic platform that you might disagree with, but you don't disavow the entire thing. You're literally saying we can all have discussions, except when it comes to Israel, which is not America. It seems like a weird line to draw.
Well, so then, I don't think that's weird. I think what history demonstrates is that when people or a government or people turn their back to the Jewish community, things end really badly, and it's a dangerous.
Jewish community and Israel are not the same thing, brother man. They're not. That is not the same thing.
No. It's like, hey, it's like if I have to pick a side for after 10/7 and after Iran, you know, I'm always going to stand with Israel. I'm always going to vote and support whatever that's necessary to protect themselves and to prosecute Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran too. And the very left never said a peep after Iran executed 30 to 40,000 young people in there just for protesting for democracy.
You think that the left is pro Iran, not the country, but the regime?
What I'm saying though is, like, if anyone in the Democratic Party is fine with Iran building a nuclear bomb, I disagree with that person.
I think most people are. Again, I think you're caricaturing the issue, but is there anything you would criticize Israel about?
The episode.
You have to watch the episode to find out.
I'm actually fascinated to hear that answer.
It's almost as if those were two separate streams.
I know.
Yeah. And somebody just stitched together the conversation. Like, Stewart asks questions and Fetterman answers a question that is being asked in a different interview, and somebody just combined them together.
The way it just went right over his head when Jon Stewart calls him brother man and says Jews and Israel aren't the same thing. He's like, he didn't interpret that comment at all.
No. What about Iran?
It's like trying to boot like a Mac program on Windows.
He seemed genuinely mystified by the entire line of questioning.
Yeah.
It never occurred to me that I'm basing all of my politics on just supporting Israel.
Right.
Huh.
That's what happens when you only go on Fox News.
I think there's other things that are also happening.
Right.
I mean, aside from any of the sort of physiological challenges, I think there's other ones. Folks, I know you don't have time to read any IMs. I got to get out of here. I am doing Zateo's We're Not Kidding. And I don't know when it airs, but I'll let you know tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow.
It might take all the strength I got to get to where I want, but I know somehow I'm gonna get there. I wasn't looking when I just got caught between the truth and the light bar, but finding out won't make me feel any better. Yeah, I know the clock is ticking, but the meds are gonna kick in, and my pilot light's shining bright. I get somewhere the choice was made, for the option where you don't get paid, for the road that bends before it finally breaks you. I guess somehow I lost my drive between the 101 and the 5. Do you know how far the detour takes you? Yeah, I know the clock is ticking, but the meds are gonna kick in, and my pilot light's shining bright. The months drifted into years while I shifted